Hello. Well, I guess this is the line where it all happens. I could risk. Hello. So, like the description says at the top, I need to change the API to be able to specify an array element that the detectors are supposed to use. Well, this is the line where it happens. Well, we link a descriptor to a texture. So then I guess I need to pass an array element index as well. Now update image sampler takes a texture update request, so I guess that is just part of that. Yeah, this is the range that the subrange of the factory characteristic. You have to extend this with a yeah, I could say a range, or maybe just I need a starting array element, and I need a number of array elements, and I need the textures. So either I can specify the range of indexes, or I can specify the textures by supplying 2 iterators, or maybe just 2 pointers. And I think I'm going to go with 1 texture, like I have here, and then a range for the index. I'm using Arch Linux. I'm not sure if I can recommend it. It is time consuming because you have to really learn everything in order to use it. There's theoretically, there's 2 index ranges. But I made a new class called arrayelementrange, which contains of an begin index and the end index, and it's supposed to refer to a descriptor. That's why it is in the namespace Vulkan descriptor. So it really is a it is a descriptor array element range, as it were. Now this is already in the namespace descriptor, so I'll just use the array element range, I guess. But the array, the descriptor array elements to to target, but this thing is not saying anything about a descriptor. It's just the texture. I don't want to talk about the descriptor in a class that is only talking about the texture. Well, it's a texture update request. It's being passed to a combined image sampler, so that's the descriptor. So in a sense, yeah, I mean, yeah. Hello, guy. I don't know. It feels weird, but let's do it anyway. I could. It seems better maybe to have a new argument as this function here, but I have to pass it here as a single object. So if I would do that, I would have to copy the data, and yeah, well, it's just constructed like that, including now then this array element range. And then obviously we have to pass that to the constructor. And initialize class element, class variable. This is one that doesn't have any subrange, in which case we just take the whole range. Thinking about the order, so I do the subrange first and then the array element range, or the other way around. I guess like this. Yeah. The thing needs to have a default as well, though, I think. If you do not pass anything, I'll just assume it's not an array, which is equivalent to assuming that it's just index 0 of an array of size 1, but Yep, and I suppose I need a accessor for it as well. Key returns, I don't know, let's put it there because first 4 then the real accessors. And the print on has to be updated. Oh, I think needs more updating. We have 2 of them. So in the meantime we have 4. Let's paste them here and see what it was. Texture. Okay, let's start over as it were. Oh, that was the last one. Okay. So currently not passing anything here means that we should get the default. By the way, I did get rid of the validation errors already off stream. Sorry. Right, so no.h, then I guess let's actually pass an element range, and I'm going to put it in, let's say, element number 1. So this is an open range, so 2 is not part of it. So it is 1 up till 2, just aka only 1. So this is now, before it was putting it in index 0, and now I wanted to put it in index 1. That's still a single texture, but the array, so yeah, it's yeah, it's a single texture, because if this range is larger than 1, then I want to use this as a pointer. So then it would be using textures ti and ti plus 1 and so on. That's the plan. So what happens then? Now, well, we are calling this now with the texture update request that has an array element range of 1 to 2 instead of 0 to 1, and that should be visible because we print it, and then we don't do anything with it. But I wanted, I want to see that it is being printed. I'm like that. I want to see everything. The SCUV, it's in the description below the video. Error conversion. It's ambiguous. Oh, my consecutive range can also be constructed from 0, 1. GPS. Definitely, totally, absolutely. Except that I do not see, of course, the class itself. This is defined. Consecutive range. Yeah. I find it dubious, but okay. I'm passing an unsigned. No, I'm not. I'm not passing an unsigned in. Yes, it is. Okay, that kind of sucks. Doesn't know what I mean if I do this. What was the default of the first thing anyway? The default of the yeah, right, not passing it at all. It's the default. Shadow Dragon, I hope I answer that also in the FAQ below the video in the description. Now, having two optional arguments that both can be constructed using two integers is very confusing. I think I'm going to move the subrange to before the factory characteristic ID, because I'm getting tired of being distracted by basically irrelevant things. And then maybe I should reorder this as well, which then in turn means that I have to reorder this, which must be in the same order as the declaration. And thus also this. Okay, so now you can see this being printed. Let's write it to the log file already. But what exactly was being printed? Update image sampler. I think this, right? Just that's all there is, or wait, it's not. Excusez-moi. Why would this not be printed? Do I have shader resource turned off? Not so much turned off as well, not mentioned at all. Yeah, that's weird. No, it's printed. Okay, so the subrange is set to 0 to 1. And the array element range is 1, 2. I like the way this is being printed. I like it. Let's print this one the same way. Yeah, well, I don't know. I could use this, or I can use a string. What is wisdom? Well, if I do that, let's include it in here. So yeah, now this reads better, I think. Oh wait, this thing also has a name in front of it, so I see what it is. And then I have braces around this one, but not internally. This brace belongs to that brace, I think. So it is okay, but I just have to, I should put a name in front of it to make it more similar. Perfectioning the debug output. How do you recognize the real perfectionist? Right, So subrange is a consecutive range of 0 to 1, and the array element range is an array element range. Very double. 1 to 2. But let's leave it like this. And then we do nothing with it. So we are in update image sampler. That means that it is being calling that thing, I guess. Is that inline? Yeah. Okay, now I changed my mind. It's just the way it is. I changed my mind. I was talking about I cannot add a new argument because it has to be in a single object, and I didn't want to do the copy. But it's much worse than that. I even have to put it on the heap. Might as well pass everything as a separate argument, I think, to this function. And then construct it here. Yeah, why not? Plus it's an inline thing. So now the question is then, where is this being called? It's being called here. Debug output. Definition. And an error message. In other words, only here. We're going to pass texture. Like that. Let's fit on one line. I'm even going to add change the name, I think. Array. Update image sampler array. And then I'm allowed to pass a range. Plus I think it's kind of silly to pass two numbers when I only want a single index. So I'm just going to pass just one. I want this to work. And now I have to make it work. Right. Hello, Post Bunny. Texture update request. Why does it jump here? Oh, because that line is continued there. Okay. And this one, I don't use this one anymore, I think. Factory characteristic ID full range. This must be used if no range is passed. I'm not getting the same problem now. AKA now I have to move the subrange again. No, because I renamed it. These are both array. This one has, let's say, no subrange. And then just calls that one. And then I have one that has no array. But I don't know if this is silly that this one calls this one, and that one then calls that one. I mean, the compiler should deal with it. But I might as well insert this immediately here. It's kind of dubious, I guess. Let's do it, but yeah. Array elemental range has not been declared. Something else. I also have to construct an array element range of size 1. You're learning Dutch, Post Bunny? Uh-huh. I don't like Dutch personally that much. It's not a beautiful language. No, I don't know. Maybe it's just because I do not like. I just don't like, let's say, Dutch songs, and don't like Dutch movies, and that's mostly because, of course, they play that here when the talent isn't as high as what you need to get into Hollywood. So then if I listen to some Dutch stuff or watch Dutch movie, then I'm like, cring, bad actress. And then you get a feeling that Dutch is not suited for that. Well, it seemed to work because it's still printing the same thing. It's also received, by the way. My first language is Dutch. Ja. Uiteraard, meid. Als je een beetje doorstudeert, dan kan ik mijn stream gewoon in het Nederlands gaan doen. I don't think so. Quit. Hey, A45. Yeah, me too, I think. Didn't I think you were drunk? I even contemplated at some point that you were an AI, Post Bunny, but never came to that conclusion. I dismissed it again. But just based on the fact that you chat so much. No, I think you're real. But you hear about those chatbots or GPT-4 would be chatting a lot. They even somewhere said, like, likely you have been chatting with it already without knowing. So I'm like, well, if that's true, then maybe it joins my stream as well. Probably not. I guess YouTube live streams is not its what's the word? Target audience platform. I wanted to look at window.h and then see that now we are calling it like array, and therefore it interprets as one as an array. That works. And an array index even. So now we're filling combined image samplers, which is an array of size 2, and then index number 1 with the detector. At least that's what I want. It's not happening because it's still showing textures for index 0. What? Right, okay, so it gets here. And then it's not a descriptor update info, it is a texture update info. So I get here. And now my texture update request also has the array element range, which I'm not using yet, but I should. Where should I use it? I think completely at the end of all of this. It's just looking stuff up by factor characteristic ID. Gets a pointer to the first texture. Why am I getting the pointer to the first texture here? It's being used here. This is the first entry with this vector characteristic inserted before iter. Yeah, I'm afraid that wherever I now store texture, I'll also have to store that range. I think so. That didn't help. Descriptor array element range. Yeah, it's 8 bytes, right? So I need to copy it in full. Array element range equals I'm not really sure why I'm making a copy. It's not really required, is it? But okay. Just to make it less... otherwise I have to use this whole thing here. Now I only have to use that. So I want anything but a underscore. That would work for me, I think. Texture. Followed by anything but an S or an underscore. There, that works much better. So I'm passing it here, means I think that I have to pass it here as well. Oh shit. Yeah, it's of course it's a pair. Okay. I'm going to compile it and then see if indeed this is the line. The first error that I get happens on this line here, and then we can fix it. And then we'll fix the rest. Those are C arrays. I would use standard array. Yep, no matching function for call to standard pair blah 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 in that line. So annoying. But and I made the get diff a little bit less because I'm going to do something scary. And of course I forgot where I have to edit, but those compile errors are most certainly still here. I think it's not the compile error that you are looking for. No matching function, that's the one. VI. So yeah, the problem is that I'm using value type here on factory characteristic key to texture type. I'm using a NeoVim. People see an alias and they think that's what I'm using. Oh, I have to guess the sentence. That's the game, guess the sentence. I guess then now that you mean, Carlo, please tell me, should I use Vim or Sublime Text? Well, I'm using Vim. So I don't even know what Sublime Text is. Would you recommend code blocks or Notepad++? Yeah, okay. Next. I'll leave it to Postbunny to give you the answers. Can't go wrong. Well, it's kind of annoying that this vector contains a standard pair of characteristic key and shader builder, shader resource texture const pointers. I'll just have to make a separate class for that again. or not. I'm really running out of names here. Too many classes with obscure meanings. What the hell? What the heck would I call this thing if I add an descriptor array index range to it? Partially source and partially target. Plus I have no idea in which namespace to put things anymore. I think I should have fixed that first. Maybe I should do that first, indeed, exactly, like. Does it do the first two textures immediately? Yeah, that's kind of cool. These happen at the same time. Is that cool? Is that what I'm doing? Yeah, okay. Okay, boring work ahead. Everything is clean-ish, and now I want to clean up my namespaces. I have a lot of classes. Oh. Right, yeah. Let's see. I think that the things that I need to change or review at the very least, the namespace is descriptor. Good night A45. Descriptor. And the even pipeline is dubious. Pipeline. and shader builder. Yeah, partitions is partitions. Shader builder, shader resource. Okay, yeah, I want to know how many classes I have in that. I think all my classes are defined in headers. So I can do for directory in pipeline or descriptor. Or shader builder or shader builder slash shader resource. Do find $D type F, well, whatever, name start.h. Execute, grab something that begins with class or struct. I don't want to see 4 declarations. So anything, and then anything but a semicolon at the end. I'm not sure if that filters out everything, but it's still early. That seems pretty reasonable. If I do after 1, you should see a closing brace of opening brace everywhere. Yeah, so that is it. What is this? Yeah, it is when there is 2 in one file. Okay, not in this case. What is this? Track line resize T elements out. Already have an align resize. It's a specialization, I guess. But yes. And then let's filter out. So better do that here, I think. Yeah, just there's always a specialization if it is starting with a less than sign. So probably should not show those at all. Oh well, let's do this first. I'm not super interested in whether or not it is a structure or a class, I think. And this should definitely still give me only a count of 1. No, it doesn't. What? Why do I have 2 bases and 2 textures, etc.? base. No, I still have them twice. Why? Yeah, no, okay. So I'll just have to. Let's do a sort and a unique, and then do the whatever I just did. Let's see the execute substitute. Wait. Or struct or class, and then I have to sort it again. So these are all the classes that might have to be moved. That's a lot. My God. 95. No. Okay, I also want to know what the current namespace is that they are in. Not easy. However, I suppose I can just do one at a time. And let's say if I do just pipeline, and I should only get the ones that are in pipeline, right? Yeah, 26 of them. Okay, nice. What? So all of these are pipeline stuffs. Let's have to do it like that, I guess. Substitute beginning with pipeline. And let's write that to classes. And then I'm appending to that the next one. Let's call it to descriptor. Descriptor. Yeah. And then shader builder. And then shader builder, shader resource. Now it seems that we have a base in shader builder. And in shader builder, shader resource. I don't believe that. I have this base, which is in shader builder, shader resource. That's a base that I know. And that's the only one. It still did pick up some base from, well. I don't see any base here. Well, I see a base, but it ends on a semicolon. And I filtered that out. I think I did. Yeah. Oh well, I don't know. Good enough? Oh no, it's not good enough because I got something that doesn't even exist. This one, and God knows how many others. Element does it also not exist. Element pair also not. It exists in pipeline partitions. It put it in pipeline. Why? How? Have to do it again, I guess. That was a lot of work. Oh, okay, I'm getting it. Yeah. Whoops. Yeah, I should not use find, I guess. Does it live in anything anyway? Yeah, this whole thing is just nonsense. Nonsense. I could do a max depth one maybe, but let's just do it like this. looking for the done. I didn't see it. There's the done. Why? So not a way to suppress the input file with grep. I'll just filter it away. Can't get it to work, it seems. What is the pipeline doing here? I change into that directory and then I do my grep. I think maybe this is being evaluated before that, before I do the CD. Nah. Fuck this. Oh, I'm getting it. fuck? Oh. Classes. What am I doing here? Something is not right. No, wait. I'm getting it. I'm getting it. Yeah, I still want to know if I have duplicates now. So let's SED I guess from the beginning, anything colon. I mean, substitute nothing. And then sort your unique. Sorry, sort unique count. Sort by numeric. Now we have only one of each. So, yeah. Well, which ones are candidates for being moved to somewhere else? Pipeline characteristic. Well, if pipeline is a namespace, and why not, then pipeline characteristic is exactly where it belongs. It does not belong anywhere else. Suppose I take a minute on average. That's a long time. Maybe I can do it much faster. Characteristic range is obviously also then what belongs into pipeline. Pipeline consecutive range, I don't know. Factory characteristic. Pipeline factory, yeah. All the factory stuff belongs in pipeline. Flat create info, not super obvious. A pipeline handle, I guess that's just something that goes in pipeline. Pipeline parameters, I don't know. Pipeline factory, two of them. Why not just factory? Push constant range compare, well, that belongs with push constant range, I guess, but I don't know. Shader input data and descriptor array element range. Okay, that is the descriptor array, so that's definitely something that belongs here. Descriptor combined image sampler, shader resource member, I don't know. To update info. Frame resource capable descriptor set. I guess everything that starts with set, this also refers to descriptor set index hint map, descriptor set key preference. Gonna move all of these. Get shader builder has to do with, say, declarations. Yeah, then this definitely belongs there. Yeah. This belongs there. Array element. No, definitely also. Layout, yeah, X layout, all the X layout stuff belongs there. Basic type. Also, basic types, also then. The base of that, build in. What is that? Declaration context, that's also for declarations, yeah. Declaration string, deal with full, okay. A layout is a lowercase l. What? Actually have it. Struct layout. Memo layout. Embedded online array size per instance data. Vertex then the push constant. Actually have multiple of those. 3. Shader builder. Where were the other ones? Tests. Okay, this is the one. Shader variable is something that has to do with. It's a virtual class for several things. Derived from shader builder DLSL full. Okay. So yeah. I guess, yeah. So this is definitely a weird case here. I have the namespace shader builder shader resource. And then I have in shader builder a class called shader resource declaration. But the reason is that the shader resource namespace is really only intended for what the viewer sees, what the user sees as a shader resource. So I only have 2 of those. Textures and uniform buffers. So I guess the shader builder doesn't really care that much about shader resources or the shader resource namespace in that sense. Now before I forget, let me just move all these up because they are all okay. It's not going slow. See the resource declaration. See the declaration context member. See the resource plus characteristic. See the resource variable. See the variable. It's very cache. Okay, maybe slightly dubious this one. Should it not be part of pipeline maybe? To do with compiling, yeah. Okay, I'm not sure about that one. Struct layout. So I'm not sure about that one, and this one is undecided yet. Struct layout. Yeah, that belongs here. Type encoding these two unlock shader infos. Also compiler related. Vertex attribute. The wrap type is used for what again? Concept based type. Binary size. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's being used here and not nowhere else, I guess. So it does not belong in a different namespace. Check that. Base, and there's comments here that mention it, or am I crazy? Yeah, apparently. But yeah, lots of talk about it in pipeline. Why? Then maybe it is related to pipeline. Or. Or shader input data is maybe not really totally really part of pipeline. It is undecided. Okay. Texture. Strange-ish. Buffer, uniform buffer derived from uniform buffer base, I guess. Isn't it? Nope. Oh, this one is. Right, like that. Okay, uniform buffer instance. It's derived from memory uniform buffer. Yeah, okay, it's just used by uniform buffer. Doesn't really belong anywhere else. But it's not. It is not a shader resource. So I don't know. Maybe I should move it to detail or something like that. Combined image sample is a shader resource, and uniform buffer is. The rest isn't. What exactly is texture then? I think texture should be part of shader builder, not of shader resource. Or maybe not even. Nah. Some classes just don't belong anywhere. I could also put it in pipeline. No. I mean, a texture is like something that is an image, right? That's what it is. So we loaded it from disk, so. That does not really belong in namespace pipeline because it's just a texture. Of course, I have to, at some point, I have to update something that belongs to a pipeline with this texture so that the pipeline shows the texture. But I don't think it really belongs in namespace pipeline. It also does not belong in shader builder because I can compile shaders just fine without having any textures. The reason it is here is because previously all this information was part of a class that later got split up. So texture and combined image sampler used to be the same class. But the part that did get split off, texture, does not belong in shader resource. Yeah, uniform buffer and image sample, these are correct. Base is dubious, I mean it's like really base class of these two, so it might as well just belong in that namespace, I'm sure. And these three are, I don't know, this is a helper base, so yeah, could put it also there. And then maybe instance as well, but it's not a shader resource. So yeah, and if the user does not use it, then I don't think I should put it right in here. But also maybe not in shader builder namespace itself. So yeah, maybe shader builder, shader resource detail. Let's put these things in detail. Where did I want to move texture to? I think simply to Vulkan. Right, and that leaves 5, 10, 15. 15 classes that I still have to figure out what to do with. And I'm getting horribly tired about all this. I think I'm gonna stop for now. Which probably means that I'll be back later tonight, but I don't know. Making this decision where to move it to is way harder than actually moving them. I bet I can move all of them in the same amount of time without getting tired. Yeah, I need more energy, so I'm gonna take a break and then come back and have a close look at these classes. What namespace they really belong into. These pretty much seem to be correct. Yeah, I have to say that it is kind of dubious that this descriptor namespace exists at all. Definitely dubious. I think I have to look where it is being used. Maybe all this descriptor stuff is only used inside Shader Builder. And then, yeah, why? Let me have a look at how often I see this descriptor set thing. I mean, array element is super new. The rest is apparently always called descriptor set. Well, there's a lot of stuff here as well, but okay, I still have to think about those. So pipeline is using it a lot. Like, well, a lot maybe. One page. Okay, 2 pages. A lot of pipelines. Okay, yeah. And it's being used in the scriptor itself. It is kind of weird. So let's ignore that. And then I have a shader builder. One page of shader builder that's using it. Set index hint. Set index hint, set index hint, set index hint map. Key. Index hint, set layout binding. Yeah. Let me have a look at the chat. Yeah, I do not understand the last remark. Young guy says, did you unbind the old texture and bound new each cycle? If you're asking me, then I don't understand the context. You must have been asking it while I was working on my namespaces. So. Yeah, I'm going to take a break, okay? I'll be back later, I suppose. Thanks for watching, people, keeping me company.